Hey everybody, it's Amy Head with New Perspectives for Life in Marietta, Georgia. It's time for our micro minute strategy for our mental health, for our mindset, for our success. We are doing a daily series for the entire year of 2026, and now today we are at day 3. So we are focusing in January on reset, how to reset a bunch of different things so that we can have better mindset, better focus, better success, better management over all the things internally and externally in our lives. We've talked before that there's so much in our life we can't control, but there is a lot we can manage that we may not even realize or don't even give ourselves credit for. So today we're going to be talking about how to reset our anxiety. Not all of the anxiety that when we're in it full blown, we'll talk about that another time, but this is the anticipatory anxiety. This is the anxiety that is anxiety about the anxiety to come. So if you're planning a trip and you have anxiety around the upcoming trip, or maybe you have anxiety around an upcoming test or project in school, or maybe around an evaluation meeting at work, or maybe something that you have to do at the house with other people or with projects. We have anxiety about the anxiety that is to come. This is called anticipatory anxiety. It is totally normal to have it, but it really keeps us from our best power. So there's a lot we can do, and we're going to be revisiting this topic of anxiety in different ways throughout the year, throughout actually this month. But I wanted to talk about the anticipatory anxiety because when we are in anxiety, when we're in a panic attack, when we're in panic mode, logic does not really work in that moment. We have the amygdala, which is our emotional command center. We have the prefrontal cortex in the brain, which is our logic center. And it doesn't matter what's going on. If we are in high anxiety or panic, no matter how much we know we should be able to manage or how much we know we're not in danger, if we have any sense of threat, the emotion is generally always going to win over the logic. So what we can do to help avoid that, getting to that point, is to help manage the anticipatory anxiety before we get into the full anxiety. So in your micro minute, what you're going to focus on is what you tell yourself. Now, I do want to mention that we've talked about breath. We've talked about resetting breath, resetting vagus nerve. Those strategies work really well for anticipatory anxiety and anxiety themselves. So you can kind of go back and listen to those from the first and the second of the month. But this one is specific in a different way, because one thing we want to remember is everything that happens to us is happening in our brain. And it is based on what our brain thinks or believes. And it doesn't really even matter what our brain believes. It believes what it knows. So if all it knows is this situation, this person, this trip, this airplane, whatever it is, makes me nervous, and that's the message that the brain gets, all the brain is going to do is amp up all of our fight or flight responses to that stressor. We want to give the brain somewhere else to go. So it is all based on what we tell the brain. You don't have to believe that you can manage it, but the brain needs to hear that you can manage it so that it has somewhere else to go. All the brain is doing when it gets in that anticipatory anxiety or the anxiety is it's going to the places, the neuro pathways that we've built over time that tells it, you can't handle this, you're not strong enough, this isn't going to work for you, you can't get through this. And that's where the brain goes. We want to give it a different path. So your micro minute, you are going to tell yourself, and there's 2 components to this. You're going to tell yourself something that empowers you and empowers the brain. Something like, I can handle this. Again, remember, you don't have to believe that because you're probably not going to believe it, but the brain has to hear it. So you're going to tell yourself something like, I can handle this. I've handled this before. I am able to handle it now. I am able to handle it again. I can handle this. You can keep it very simple. I can handle this. One thing we want to do to keep that vagus nerve in play in a good way, to keep all of our fight or flight managed, is we want to tell ourselves this calmly. This is why it's hard to do it when we're in the anxiety and panic, because we're already not calm. But in the anticipatory, before the event comes, we can focus on being calm. So you want to tell yourself in a calm, assuring tone, I can handle this. I am able to handle this. I have power in this situation coming up. I can handle the trip coming up. I am able to handle the trip coming up. Because what you want to think about is, if you tell yourself something frantically and you just try to tell yourself and try to get through it, it's going to amp up the stress response. If we tell ourselves something calmly, it's going to tamp down that stress response. So the micro-minute strategy is, before the anxiety event occurs, when you're beginning to feel that anticipatory anxiety come up, take a 1 minute, and you can do this repeated throughout the day. You can even do it longer than a minute. All these strategies you can do longer than a minute, but you want to take 1 minute. If you need to set your timer, set your timer. Focus on your message to your brain and just keep it very simple, very calm, very assured. I can handle this meeting on Friday. I can handle this meeting on Friday. I can handle this meeting on Friday. Whatever the issue or the situation is, bring that into the statement and just repeat over and over again. What you're doing is, if you want to think about it visually, is you're building a neural pathway in the brain that gives it somewhere positive and productive and strength-based to go, so that it doesn't default to the lack of power. Okay? So keep that in mind. One easy statement. Say it like a mantra over and over again. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to buy into it. You can think it's bogus. Doesn't matter. The brain only goes with what it has been told. So we have to give the brain that message. All right, guys, that's your micro minute to help with your anticipatory anxiety. Again, you can go back to our other strategies we talked about. Those will help too. And we'll catch you tomorrow.